That's okay. Watch. I have non-edited receipts. Y'all know I do. I've never disappointed before. Yeah, you guys, if you block the you don't have to block them. I don't care. Let her flag the shit, because either way, y'all just make sure y'all sub to my other channel. Okay, let me show my own receipts. Fuck her. Y'all want some non-edited shit. Okay, let me show my own receipts. Let's do the damn thing. I'm gonna figure out how to do this. Let her flag the shit, because either way, y'all just make sure y'all sub to my other channel. Let me show you guys the receipt, all right? Let me turn this shit off. Fuck her. Those receipts are very edited. Actually, look, what I'm gonna do is this. Let's go over to Kimmy's channel where I can show these receipts. Y'all know just Kimmy? And then I'll respond later tonight. All right, you guys? I want you guys, let's go over to just Kimmy and I'll show my receipts there. All right, you guys? Wait a second. Let me see. I don't even know if she's live. Let me look to see if she's live real quick. She looks pressed, y'all. Wait a minute. Y'all want to laugh at Snoop? Hang on. Let's get a laugh real quick. Let me see if Kimmy's live. Somebody, can y'all check? Let's see how funny she's looking. Because y'all about to get some full receipts now, bro. You look pressed. You made us wait a week for this edited shit, bitch. You better hope that his receipts match mine, because you're about to get embarrassed, fool. All right, let me go over to Kimmy, y'all. She's live. Let's go. See y'all there.
Oh, you know we gotta put them get down in it. Get down. That's Queen. That's Queen saying get down. Get down. That's his little boy. Hey.
Let me see something. Can y'all, okay, wait a minute, wait. Hey, can y'all hear me okay? Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. Hey, Silva. Hey, JT. Okay, great. So, I didn't know it was going to be that fast. Let me give a quick rundown about what's going on really quickly. So, there's a couple of female content creators that on YouTube that was actually sleeping with the same man here on YouTube. And gosh, as you saw in the title, I titled it When Sympathy Goes Wrong, and I titled it that as I was going to stream Misunderstood, formerly known as Nico Diaz, because and I titled it When Sympathy Goes Wrong, because when Nicole Diaz, aka Misunderstood, first came around the black sector, um, and became familiar, we became more familiar with her. I began to become familiar with her via BMT, also known as Business Minded Talk. Back then, it was Black Male Talk. Well, Lord have mercy, help me, Jesus. Oh gosh. She had some involvement also with Nyla, Sis, and Taz when they were trying to help her with Uncle Suge. Because she had a sob story. Okay, she had a sob story because she is an addict. And a lot of people felt a lot of sympathy, was very sympathetic towards Misunderstood because she had shared several stories that were um, very disturbing and very sad regarding her sexuality, regarding regarding sexual offenses, and of course also with her being an addict. Hey Christy, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hey Tyrone. And she would, even I was sympathetic towards her, right? And I'm telling you guys, let me tell you, honey, my sympathy meter is, child, Lord. I am putting some of my sympathy on reserve because not everyone deserves my sympathy and not everyone deserves my empathy. Not everyone deserves my compassion. I don't know how you guys feel about these matters for yourself, but no, I have learned, and continue to learn that I have to guard my own spirit. And in doing so, I have to also I have to be sparingly with my empathy, my sympathy, and my compassion. So here with Misunderstood, because she was an addict and always saying that she was going to therapy, she would get on panels, never shy really about getting on panels, trying to explain things. And she would say, she would make it like she can't really keep up with the conversation, or she can't really prepare. She can't really speak English that well. She doesn't understand very clearly. She gets things really mixed up. But then she's always in a circle of drama. Kind of like it's convenient. It's kind of like it's convenient when she gets confused. It's convenient when she's suffering with the medications, being on or off, or addiction or whatever. And I am sick and tired of people weaponizing their dysfunction, weaponizing their mental illnesses, weaponizing their shortcomings to stop other people from being able to hold them accountable. And yet they can't seem to avoid drama. Like I'm just kind of sick of this kind of behavior. It puts a disdain and it puts a stain on people who are really striving to do better, that have some of the same conditions and the same issues, right? So back to Misunderstood. She ended up starting a channel, and her channel, her content, being on YouTube seems to be more important, in my opinion, seems to be more important than her health, than her children, and her children's well-being and welfare, and then her healing, then her getting delivered from her addictions. Okay. Hey, Mela, good to see you. Hold on a sec. I need to do something with that. Bam. So Mela asked the question, what is the name of it? I don't know the name of the guy, right? I just happened to run across all of this like in the past week or so among all the other mud wrestling among female content creators, right? And so this latest thing, because there is a thing, there is this thing, and I hate that this thing is this, but there's a lot of peen hopping. There's a lot of peen hopping and vagina hopping and vagina sharing and bed hopping on YouTube. People are swapping sensual juices with each other. I swear they are. Like, I don't know, like they're sharing, like it's just sharing a popsicle, and it's just not. I'm not even talking about just being in relationships, right, or dating or taking the time. I'm talking about literally like going from being in this person's bed today and being in another person's bed tomorrow, and then being in another person's bed next month, and then being in another person's bed like the week after that. Ah, ah, I'm disgusted. I am disgusted. I'm disturbed. But back to misunderstood. So misunderstood is one of those people, one of those ladies, one of those females that's doing this. And apparently she's doing this with knowing that people are in relationships or seeing someone, not minding being the secondhand girl, the mistress, whatever. I mean, I just can't. I'm just disturbed. I'm disgusted. You know what? What? And when you see her, and when you go and see her, hey, Joe Dub, and when you go and you see like her, at one point, it looked like she was trying to rub it in Lady Snoop's face that she was sleeping with Lady Snoop's man. He just left my house, and I find out they're a couple, like that they're really a couple, that he's with her. So he just left my house and we had sex, but now I'm involved with somebody else anyway. I don't even want to say his name. Who? Tommy. I'm gonna join Tommy's OnlyFans. Another content creator, Rudimp Rue, was talking about this as well from another angle with Misunderstood. Basically, Rudimp was talking about how there are a lot of men who will like to get with broken women, and Misunderstood, let's be very clear, Misunderstood is a very broken woman. Misunderstood, if you catch this, listen, I know you already know. I am not sharing anything new to you with the exception of right now what I'm sharing that you may not, that may surprise you, is I am disgusted. I am disgusted. disgusted with you at this point. Disgusted with you, disgusted by you. I am disgusted. I'm disgusted because you don't care enough about yourself. But as a woman, you don't care enough about your own children. And it shows by the way you actually put them at risk through your own behavior. Like getting high and getting, I was almost super blunt, and getting sexed, getting screwed is more important to you than your well-being and then your children. And you know better. It's not like you don't know better. You know better. You're just choosing to not be better. You're choosing to not do better. Literally, you're just choosing this. And then you're choosing to not be better. You're choosing to not do better. You have the audacity to claim that other people are jealous of you. Jealous of what? When people question things like your hair not being kept or your hair being real, people are jealous, or people are jealous because of your business skills or whatever. Let me tell you something. No, we're not jealous. No one really is jealous. It would take, if someone is jealous of someone like you, I would feel very sad for their life, because that's just shameful. Because you are not a standard in any shape, form, or fashion that anyone should be jealous of by any means. It's disgusting. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say. You like to brag about your material things. Let me tell, I'm going to have to speak at you because you're not someone who can really be spoken to for correction. You're one of those kind of women, right? And it's disgusting. It's distasteful. It's embarrassing by all accounts. And it's a waste. You are a waste of beauty. How do you, like Ruth them said, how do you waste pretty? How do you waste pretty? You're cute for a meth head. That's not saying much. We would rather not say that you're cute for a meth head. You're cute for a meth addict. We'd rather not say that. We'd rather say you're cute, you're beautiful, you're attractive. Okay? But we can't. We have to break it down, scale it down, and say you're cute, you're attractive for a meth addict. So that's me speaking at you because we can't speak to you. Hey, Monica, Mo Justice. Let me try to speak to someone else because we can't speak to you. You know what? Let me try this. Give me a second. Let's try this. Oh. Give me a second, y'all. Let me see here. How do I want to do this? I'm not going to play the audio here. I'm just going to do a screen share of one of her recent videos titled Pressed Anyone. So this is Misunderstood. This is Misunderstood, who is attractive, who is cute for a meth addict. I haven't heard this stream. But this is a woman this is a female who, when asked about her hair, which I've never asked about her hair, but apparently others have, because it's been clips of it have been put on other places on YouTube. She says that people are jealous of her hair. No, not so much. No, ma'am. No, ma'am, we're not. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No one. No. People ask about it because we know that it could look better. But if you don't care about coming on YouTube like this because you want to question and talk about people being pressed, honestly, why should we? Why should we? But this is a waste of talent because she is talented. She can dance. She can do different things with social media. She is talented in those ways. She does have some business savviness. Hey, sis Faith, good to see you. Let me do this. So, this is a waste of talent. It's a waste of purity. It's a waste of beauty. Because she could easily make her hair. Now, listen, if she wants to show up like this, and as she does, so be it. Go ahead, show up like this. But it's a waste of beauty showing up like this. Hey, Chef Disaster, good to see you. And it's funny how on her channel, when she's trying to address people who are either critiquing her or talking about something that she's done or disappointed, she's a lot more clearer than when she's on a panel or trying to address people or address something and she doesn't have to be defensive. It's really very interesting. But she also works to, and this is my opinion, she also works to manipulate the conversation or the narrative so as to not look so bad while she's doing this at the same time. So she is currently trying to make Lady Snoop, which is the guy that which is the guy who's which is the woman whose YouTube man she recently slept with and has been sleeping with. So she's now trying to make Lady Snoop look bad. While at the same time saying that she was, recently was saying that she was going to do OnlyFans for Tommy Sotomayor. Y'all, I just can't. Listen, it's a waste. This is what happens when the sympathy goes wrong. This is what happens when, listen, anybody can do YouTube. Anybody. And we know anybody can do YouTube because this is a meth addict. This is literally a meth addict. Anybody can do YouTube. Anybody can do Instagram. Anybody. Anybody can have a voice. Anybody can have a voice. Anybody. So let me speak to someone so I cannot speak at her because she cannot be spoken to. Ladies, the person on the screen is not an example of someone to follow. If you want good in your life, okay, let me put it like that. If you want good in your life, this is not an example to follow. The lady on the screen. Women like this are not good examples to follow in your life, for your life. Please listen to me. If you are in the age range of 30 and below, and you're listening to me as a woman, and you're a woman, you're a young woman, listen to me. This is proof how anybody can be a quote unquote influencer or a voice or vlogger, whatever, someone important, so to speak, on social media, can gain some popularity in life and with social media. Just because you can do it doesn't mean that you should do it. Be very careful. Very careful. Very, very, very careful who you lend your energy and your time to and who you look up to in this world and on social media. Hello, Donna, just being real good to see you. Hey, Emmanuel, I don't know if I spoke to you. Hey, good to see you. Be very careful. Be very mindful and be intentional. Because, let me stand up. Child, I know it looks like in this world where, and in this society now, where attention is the new currency and has been the new currency for about 10 years or so, 10 or so years, right? And the best way to obtain that kind of attention is on social media, right? Not all attention is good attention. And as a woman, I know you may want to say or question, how can I say that as a woman? Because Women like attention. Women thrive at attention. No, let me correct this thing here. Women thrive when they have good attention. Women thrive when they have healthy attention. Women thrive when they know the difference between good and healthy attention versus any and all attention. Women thrive the most when they have the right amount of good and healthy attention. Not too much and not negative attention. What you're seeing on the screen is the result of negative attention. Okay? Not all attention is good attention. Not all attention is the right attention. And when you draw too much of the wrong attention to yourself, the results that you will get from that will actually work against you and be consequential more versus being rewarding. Healthy and good sources of attention are rewarding. They make you feel good. They do not work against you. Negative attention works against you. And when people are eager to feed you your negative attention, because any attention will do for you, these people do not have your best interest at heart. And it is better to live a life and have one or two people in your life that mean you well and that have your best interest at heart than to have millions of people that you're popular with that will just give you any attention, that do not have your best interest at heart. And people that can't get attention any other way, if they see you getting popular from negative attention, especially on social media, they might link up with you to grab some of your attention. And continue to fuel and feed it for you and with others so that they can get attention that they crave, that they lack also. They become your energy vampires. Energy vampires do not mean you well. And essentially, you end up sucking each other dry. This woman on the screen, she cannot get enough of anything. So while I know her to be, and she's known to be a meth addict, I would suggest that she is an addict in general. I would suggest that she has an addictive personality. Now, I do have some background in psychology. I would have to spend a lot more time looking at her to go more into that. And I'm simply not interested in doing that. But I want you to know that there is a such thing as an addictive personality, which means they need more intensive therapy. Intensive and ongoing therapy. And she refuses to go through that because the attention and getting high is more important to her. So she chooses her drugs versus her healing, versus her deliverance. And it makes me disgusted. It doesn't make me sad. Sad would be a waste of my empathy. a waste of my sympathy, a waste of my compassion. And I'm just not willing to continue to yield that anymore. I'm putting my empathy, my sympathy, and my compassion in a reservoir. There are those that are warranted in, and there are those that are not. Some people have to just get hard yeses in life. Some people have to live a hard life because they choose it. And we must let them choose it. We must let them reap their consequences. We must. So I'm not even talking to her anymore. Now, even through this stream, I can only talk at her. She cannot be spoken to. She can only be spoken at. But for other listeners that can be spoken to, as you continue to grow in this world, I'm going to ask you to think long and hard. Take some time and ask yourself, how much is attention worth to you? Do you know the difference between healthy attention and unhealthy attention? Do you know how to create the source, or do you know the sources to go to get healthy and the right forms of attention versus the wrong forms of negative attention? Are you okay in the world without having all eyes on you and all ears at your expense every time you wake up and step outside into the world? Can you exist by giving yourself the attention that you need? Can you exist? Can you be a giver and not a constant taker when it comes to attention? Can you render the right attention, the right amount of attention to those that are dependent upon you for care, like children, like family, like spouses, significant others, elderly parents, pets? Let me stop sharing the screen now. I think we've had enough of looking at her. I think the other thing I want to say is, because the situation with this love triangle or this sex triangle between Lady Snoop, this guy, I don't know who the guy is yet. This guy and Misunderstood. This man is also responsible for his own actions as well. And he is trying to explain to Lady Snoop what happened. He is trying to not be responsible. He's trying to lay all the blame on both the ladies. And Lady Snoop appears to be hurt. Misunderstood appears to be having a meltdown and more upset about the exposure than anything with the relationship. And the guy is just trying to save his behind, his own behind. As adults, we are responsible for our own actions. As adults, even on social media, we are responsible for our own actions. And whether we like it or not, we are responsible for our own actions, even if we have a mental illness or mental disorder or going through something. we still are responsible for our own actions because no one makes us turn these cameras on, turn these mics on, and strike up a vlog. Nobody makes us do it. Every time we do that, that is an option. And the same way we opt to do it, we can opt to not do that. So nothing really makes us exempt either from being responsible and accountable. It doesn't. I know, we would like to think, that it doesn't, or that it does, that you can be exempt. But no, and no, you cannot be exempt. If you can't be responsible and held accountable, then that must mean that you need to be in the care of someone else that can stop you from getting on camera whenever you feel like it, or getting in chat rooms whenever you feel like it, or get on social media whenever you feel like it, and saying or doing whatever that you feel like you can't or want to do, and be exempt from responsibility. You just need somebody else. You need somebody else to be responsible for you. You need another care provider. You need another adult to help you to adult. Is what we're saying, basically, because you don't want to be held accountable like everybody else. So I'm disgusted. I don't know what else to say about that. I've seen a few other things that has disgusted me. Other things that I want to talk about, but this was the thing that was going on right now that I was like, let me just go ahead and show this example right now while it's happening live. But I hope you guys are having a great weekend, so far. Let me give some positive highlights, though. Some positive highlights. Oh, my goodness, y'all. I was over at El Nixon's recently, Wednesday night. El Nixon, the voice of reason, has another channel called The Red Room. And over at The Red Room, he was playing it was Grown and Sexy this Wednesday. And I was all up into my grown and sexy attitude. So if you wasn't grown and if you wasn't sexy, you didn't belong there. Okay? Let's see. What else? We've had some ladies in mud wrestling matches on YouTube. Content creators that I support, going at it, and some that don't. So they were mud wrestling. But out of mud wrestling, we have the Faith Factor also in the stream. She's working on a series about a better woman. And hey sis, real life is not in cyberspace. Now that's my sis right there. Real life is not in cyberspace. That's my girl. But she's working on a series. And I really want to see her, continue to walk it out and work it through to help women about making decisions. Some things I agree with, some things I don't. But overall, I like the message. I am all for being a better person. Listen, here's the thing. And her series actually caused me to do some thinking, y'all. And I went back down memory lane. Oh, wait. Y'all don't know. Listen, I had a birthday recently, right? I had a birthday, so I am older. I'm a little wiser. I feel great, okay? I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. The Most High has been so good to me. Yeah, I'm a little older. And so I went digging back down memory lane to my 20s and my 30s, my preteens and stuff, and had some conversations. So as I was going down memory lane, I was like, ooh. And then I was talking to my dad one day last week. We were playing dominoes because that's what me and my dad do. Me and Dad, we play dominoes a lot. So Dad and I were playing dominoes and listening to music, and we were having a conversation about life and love and relationships over music. And he was sharing with me some things about him that I didn't know. between he and my mother, and some of his other relationships. Talked to me about some mistakes that he had made and things like that. And it was just really good and really healthy, right? But in my reflecting back, I realized this more and more. And that's that, y'all, it takes all kinds of people in this world to make this world what it is. And we all have a journey in life. We all have a journey. We all have our own individual journey. We all have individual backgrounds, different things to make us who we are today, who will be tomorrow, and who we were yesterday. And sometimes in growth, we want to bring other people with us right where we are because we think where they are is not good enough and they need to be where we are because that's where we are right now. Or where we're going is where they need to go. And we need to all go together and we need to all go at the same time and we need to all get there at the same time. And in all honesty, that's just not, unfortunately, that's not how life works. But then again, maybe it is fortunate that is how life works. Because if it was not to work like that, there would be no differences ever. And if there were no differences ever, there would never be any conflict. Without any conflict, without any indifferences, you wouldn't know how to deal with differences and you wouldn't know how to deal with conflict. Without there being any differences, without being any ways to deal with conflict, you wouldn't know how to deal with a changing world and different things in life. So it takes all kinds. It does. And I was even thinking back about some of my girlfriends and how, because out of all my girlfriends, out of all my friends, period, because I have girlfriends and I have guy friends, but out of all my friends, most of the people that are my friends in my life have been in my life for 20 plus years. 20 plus years. Some of my friends have been in my life since we were kids. We grew up together, men and boys and girls, men and women now. And some of us were in the military together. Some of us went to school together, college together. But we were not all my friends, men and women, we have not all been on the same path throughout our lives. We've had things in common that allowed us to stay in touch or that allowed us to establish a foundation and be built on the foundation. But we've not all walked the exact same path. We've not all had the same backgrounds, the same upbringings, the same trials, same experiences. When it comes to my girlfriends, some of my girlfriends were a little wilder than I was, and some of them were a little nerdier than I was. Most of my girlfriends had a much different background than what I did. And most of my girlfriends made different choices coming out of high school than what I did. So who we are and who we became, most of us have different ideologies when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to a moral compass, things that we stand for. And all of these things help shape us for who we are. So, in thinking about that and reflecting upon that, Like, man, one of my girlfriends, I'm gonna tell you, well, I have one girlfriend, out of all my girlfriends, I have one girlfriend that she is absolutely stunning. I have lots of beautiful girlfriends, but this girlfriend, and I've always told her this, she is just absolutely stunning. She has a very, what's the word I want? She has a very exotic look, very exotic look. And the girl got a bad body. Let me go ahead and say this. If you don't know, I am a natural born woman, heterosexual, no homo. I'm able to compliment women like I can compliment a man because I understand and recognize beauty, period. But I am strictly prickly over here. Just want to go ahead and say that. So my girlfriend, for now, I'm going to call her Missy. Missy and I went to junior college together. Missy had a different upbringing than what I had. So Missy had a different way of looking at life than what I did. Missy knew, too, that she was beautiful. She knew she was attractive. Missy is not just attractive. She's not just, doesn't have to desire looking at not just a bad body. But Missy also has natural sex appeal. So with her different upbringing, her different background, I met her, like I said, in junior college. But this is me coming out of the military and her coming from just leaving the house, pretty much. So Missy was a little bit more risque than what I was. Okay, Missy's a little more risque and a little bit more bold when it came to dealing with men. Okay, a lot more bold. Take that back. Missy was a lot more bold when it came to dealing with men, and when it came to dress, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter at all how she wore her hair, how she wore her makeup, or if she wore makeup. It didn't matter what she had on. She was going to look good regardless. It did not matter. And she knew that. Now, and she knew that she got a lot of attention. She was going to get attention no matter what. It didn't matter. Wherever we were, what she was doing, it didn't matter. She's going to get attention. To this day, it doesn't matter what Missy got like 7 to 9 kids. I don't know. After about 5, 6 kids, people, I start losing count. But she got like 7 kids, 7 or 9. Is it either 7 children or 9 children? One of the two. But even after having all those children, she still got a bad body. She still looks great. She doesn't look good. She looks great. She eats good, takes care of herself. Her kids look good. She can still pull them from anywhere out of nowhere. But I remember thinking one time, man, you gonna go out like that? And she was married. She has one child. She had one child before being married, right? And then all the other children are within her marriage. But she's also a widow. Her husband had passed away. So yeah. And but Missy has a heart of gold. Missy has a heart of gold. And she has a spirit. She has a great spirit. When I first learned about her background and her upbringing, I was really saddened by it. It really broke my heart because see, Missy had to hustle. So she had a hustle mentality out the gate. She was abandoned by her birth parents, and then she was adopted. She struggled within her adoption, and all she knew is that she was not going to be hurting in life. And men would give to her easily, not a problem. And she would date up. Missy would date even older non-black men. She would date older non-black men. And I remember one time thinking how different we were. But I loved her. I could see her heart and I could see her spirit. This is before she had children. This is before she began having children. And we would have long, deep conversations. When I met her family, when she met mine, and just begin to share the differences in our backgrounds and stuff. It was just different. And I would pray for her. One time we got into a fight. Not with each other, but like together, like we were on the same side at a restaurant. That's a different story. Anyway. It's very matter. Anyway, I don't want to talk about me and fighting. But anyway, Missy today is a very modest, very respectful, very well kept, very honorable woman. There are still some things that are different between us, but she's very respectful and very respected. And if I had ended our friendship when there was nothing wrong between us, just because we were different, I wouldn't be able to admire the woman that she is today. And out of all the people that we were friends with, out of all of our mutual friends, I am the only one to this day that she speaks to, that she's remained friends with. And I call her my sister. She's my sister. So I go back to say again about how it takes all kinds in this world. It takes all kinds. We all have our own journey. And sometimes it takes patience to even begin to understand someone else's journey, right? But nobody's journey comes without judgment. Like it or not. Nobody's journey, no one's decisions, no one's life choices comes without judgment. We judge everything and everybody, whether we want to or not, even on a subconscious level. We do. Some people will judge you, for being too good, being too nice, being too kind, being too square. Some people will judge you for not being square enough, not being too smart, for being dumb, for being ignorant, for not being well-rounded, for the career choice you make, right? But if we can encourage each other to stretch outside of the comfort zone, if we can encourage each other to be a better version of themselves, not competing with someone else, but just be a better version of yourself that makes you a better version in this world and for society today than what you were yesterday, and for tomorrow than what you are today, then things will be better around us. Things will be better in our friendships and our relationships. There is none perfect, right? But we can't encourage people to be better or do better without there being a desire and a willingness to be accountable and be responsible. And you can't force responsibility and accountability on people. You can only talk about it, you can only encourage it, and you can only be an example, right? And that's something for me that I've always strived for. I've always strived to be a better version of myself and to stretch my moral compass and to stretch my spiritual essence and to stretch my mental capacity and to stretch my emotional sensors, to stretch. And that's why I'm reigning woman. That's what reigning woman, that's what it means. That's what reigning woman means. To be in total control and full authority of myself. To govern myself. To take on the responsibility of governing myself that comes with accountability. And I keep people around me that can help me to grow, that will push me to grow, even when I don't like it, even when it's uncomfortable. I like accountability that will hold me accountable for being a better person, a better me, or goals and things like that. It's important to me. If I can't trust you to help me to grow, I don't feel like you care enough about me. See, anybody can have buddies. Buddies are a dime a dozen, really, because buddies are just somebody that you can laugh with. You just shoot the jive with. This phone is blowing up. Who is texting me? Hold on a second. Oh, kind of text messages. Oh, all right. That's sweet, and you're still coming. Okay. Back to buddies and acquaintances and associates. Like those people come a dime a dozen. Someone to just laugh with, shoot the jive with, right? But the people that you can call and count on when you are in pain of some sort, when you're going through something, and that want to see you better. Those to me are the people that really care about you long term, will be there for you in your life. Even if something happens and you're no longer you're no longer in communication for whatever reason, right? So yeah, I support being a better version of ourselves. I think we need, no, I don't think, I know we need more people that are courageous and bold enough to speak on the things they stand for and that have a sense of righteousness and a moral compass. Where there is no moral compass is nothing but depravity. Where there is depravity is nothing but destruction. And we have enough destruction. We have enough depravity. We have enough closed mouths when it comes to people stating what they believe in. I believe in God. I believe very strongly, very firmly in God. My spiritual relationship with Christ is everything to me. And as long as it is everything to me, I'm going to be honest. I think it should be everything to those who know me, those around me, and those who listen to me. That helps keep me grounded. It is the source of my righteousness and my provision. It is my center point. Because if I ever lose my center point, I'm going to let you know, I'm going to tell you, I would be held on this world, in this world. I would wreak havoc. My relationship with Christ is the difference maker in me not wreaking havoc. The course that he takes me on, the change, the way he transforms me, is the difference maker. So why would I not share that? And why would I not be honest about that? So there are some things that I can relate to, and there are some things that I cannot relate to, absolutely cannot relate to, but I can relate to myself, and I can relate to my truth, the truth about me. And it's a choice, and it's a daily choice. It's a daily walk. But that's the beginning of that's the beginning of my desire, shall I say. That is the beginning of my desire to stretch my moral compass and to grow. I'm going to go through the chat. I'm a little hungry now. And I want to go check on my painting. Because I started prepping a painting. So let me go through the chat. I didn't give us no music today, did I? Oh well. Judge Dre, hey, good to see you. Y'all forgive me, I have to go all the way up. So Yeti Black, I saw him already. And thank you all for coming through. Okay, I answered that question already. I have to be very careful of what I say or write online, like 1000%, right? Oh, that's just nasty, right? And she says, I was speaking last night about how these YT guys are going around emotionally devastating these online women because they choose to overlook their deceitful nature first. 100. I heard one guy in the white manosphere say women are inherently evil. According to one of these guys, women don't have to do anything wrong, but because you're a woman, you cannot be trusted. It's disgusting. But if that's the case, because they're a man, they cannot be trusted. I mean, we could just go in circles. Women are not evil, rather, women are influenced by the evil leadership of men. I wish I could pin that. Can I pin that? Yes, I can pin that. Exactly. I can say all because there are good men out there, but men create a lot of these problems and then want women to go back to Victorian times. I don't think so. Speaking of Victorian times, I am looking for a Victorian dress for the summer. and a Victorian corset. I digress. Okay, so these ladies are talking to themselves, and Faith was asking, when did Misunderstood do? Misunderstood. Hey, Vida, Boogie, good to see you. No, Faith, she is not getting her stuff together, unfortunately. Okay, I'm still reading. Let me do this because I paid for this, so I might as well use it. So while I read the chat, I'm going to play this. Now bear with me. Um, okay, now I can read the chat. I will admit I do have somewhat of an addictive personality, but I've learned to cope. Thank you for sharing that, Celine. And I wish you well on learning all the things that trigger you to pull into an addiction so that you can offset them and replace those things, those triggers with something else. Mela, you want to join the panel? Emmanuel says he hopes she focuses on getting the help she needs with her drug addiction. And YouTube definitely is not the place to get that help. It's too bad that it's not used more positively. Really great things could be done here, but unfortunately, it's more toxic than anything else. All I do is find myself having compassion for people that as time goes by have discovered they don't deserve it. It's frustrating. I agree. Hey, all hard grit and grind. Okay, Mela. Yes, girl, Domino's with Dad. And I finally beat him, man, because my dad had been kicking my butt in Domino's for like 6 months straight, every session. But he been practicing on Domino apps too. I'm like, goodness, man, kicking my butt. I wish I grew up in a time before the internet. Honestly, even though it's a great way to connect with others, it seemed like a nicer time in a lot of ways when your private life didn't need to worry. That's so true. My aunt is a baby boomer, and even though she grew up in a more progressive generation than previous, things were more organic. Yes! I'm going to rock a lot of pink and yellow this summer and bring positive energy. That's a great, Donna. Rain, have you heard of Kendra G? I have video clips on my timeline. The women that call into her show are hella delusional with extreme unrealistic expectations from men but wants everything. Faith, I have checked in on some of Kendra G's clicks, and I'll be honest, girl, I cannot take too much of it. It reminds me too much of KS, and I'm really just kind of over it. I'm over women being delusional. I'm over men being delusional. Yeah, I'm over hearing people wanting to take so much and give so little. Yes, Celine. It's difficult to befriend those that don't share your values. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm all caught up. I hate to disappoint you, but your dad just let you in that one time to keep. I'm gonna block you, Emmanuel. You didn't have to say that. Nobody asked you for that comment. Talking about some, he just let me win. This is what I'm gonna do, right? I'm gonna let the music play for a minute, and I'll be back. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Can y'all hear the music? Okay? Is it okay? The music? Okay, great. Thank you. Really, Mela? I'm gonna save that one. I think I'm gonna save that one. Yeah. Another child by Brother Max. Hey, Ronan. Okay, Donna, I'm glad to hear that. Hey, Mella.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm fine as always, just like you. Look, if you don't mind me saying so, I got a notification that Lady Snoop ended her live stream in tears. I'm glad,
No.
yeah, I'm glad I didn't get a chance to see that because I was also focused on the calamities of what happens when these people get entangled with each other online. And so I'm going back and forth, and then you are live, right? And you are demonstrating when sympathy goes wrong. And I said that's what it is. I'm chasing people to sympathize after. And that's just not that I don't need sympathy for myself. It's just that there's something about me that wants humanity to be well and whole and happy.
Right.
And so when people who I deem to have potential of of a greater good, I try to hang out with them. I just try to hang out with them. Personality that are oftentimes the cattier side. When I say catty, I mean like alarming side. There have been times I've used the aspect of my personality to
You're going in and out, Mella.
alarming fashion. Oh, okay. Well, it happens. Anyway, I just came up to say hi and see what I could offer in terms of what the title of your stream is. I think I was holding my device in a different area of the room, so I'll try to keep it balanced. What are your thoughts about your? Well, you've expressed your thoughts about your title. However, what is it that you would now say, knowing that Lady Snoop allegedly, because I haven't viewed it, ended her live stream in tears, knowing that she was entangled with a guy? Yet, I didn't catch his name yet, and I hope she doesn't take us down because I caught the name, but I didn't note it. It just didn't make any sense for me to just record it. Like, what the hell do I care who the guy is? Because a lot of them are still opportunists. He was basically a drug counselor, and he decided to have sex with a woman that was on drugs, and
You
that to
said he's a
me,
drug counselor?
that's what he deemed his uh opportunity to be, as someone that could be counted on to distribute a drug test to her, as an honest agent, like a honest third party that will tell the family honestly whether or not she tested positive. Because you got some people, you can pay them to say, okay, just say that I passed the test. Like, because if she's got pressure from her family that just that gives her drug tests, and she's figured out a way to like, and they have found out that she's basically interfering with whether or not she tests positive for drugs, then apparently his role was where he was recruited. I'm not sure if he's a certified uh, drug abuse counselor, but apparently he operates in that realm enough to where they said, well, since you're her friend and we think that you're ethical enough to tell the truth as to whether or not she tests positive for drugs, we're going to, let you into this situation, and you just tell her when she's on, you just tell us what's up. The problem is his corrupt manhood started poking out, and he wanted to poke on her, and so then Lady Snoop is involved with it because he, having collaborated with her regarding the technical savvy of how to build your channel. That's how it started off, and then next thing you know, she's captured in his web, and so she's interrogating him publicly online in this recent live stream about, like, explain yourself. Basically, it was a explain yourself in front of everybody type of live stream, and I was into it. And then you went live, and then the other woman went live, who we all know, who is they consider Irene, but we're familiar with who she is. And I was like, this is really getting complicated, but not. If we have followed it from the very beginning on Uncle Suge's channel, we pretty much are in tune with how things ended up here. So when sympathy goes wrong, right? When sympathy goes wrong is where we believe that all people need is an opportunity to think better so that they can do better. However, there are those among us that are so messed up, for lack of a better word, that it's difficult for them to escape any form of addiction, be it social media, food, alcohol, drugs, whatever, children, shopping, collecting, collecting knickknacks, hoarding, whatever. There are people that just have a problem, and
Right.
and they have to work themselves out of it, no matter how much you love on them. No matter how much you love on them.
Yeah.
And there's only so much juggling my spirit can do.
Right.
Okay.
Because we get entangled in our own sanity and our own consciousness. We get entangled with the crookedness and the dysfunction of others and wishing them better and then sympathizing with them. And so it can get to a point to where we actually need help ourselves. We need support for giving our own support.
And that's why I don't communicate offline with anybody, because that is when I would probably be prone to become sick. Because when you start talking offline to people and you exchange your vulnerability and they exchange their vulnerability, that's an entanglement. And that's something that's difficult to erase from your spirit, And what I have found as years have gone by, embarking upon this particular aspect of social media, I've learned from Facebook. Don't believe that there's any such thing as new friends. That's not, people that are, and I'm okay, I don't want to sound cynical, but what is the likelihood that you're going to discover a quote unquote best friend for life online? It's like impossible, because you don't have the developmental longevity that it takes to have that forever investment. You see what I'm saying? So these people, just because you're captivated by somebody's personality, what they're saying, how they convey a message, they popping, right? Everything about them is popping. That doesn't mean that you have to get attached to them privately to the extent where you become emotionally invested and then later on devastated when they eventually betray you in some manner, because you confuse them with having the same capacity of loyalty as a childhood friend would. I mean, to have trust, serious trust, that takes years, baby, years.
Yeah.
Not know, oh, I like your channel. Here's my email. Here's my phone number. And we talking to each other, and I got something in common with you. You got something in common with me. We just basically holding hands and making plans or whatever the hell these people are doing. And it's crazy, because it's like you cannot make yourself believe that you can transform what is required to be years, even decades of trust into a 18-month experience of hearing somebody online. It's lunacy. And I see people getting caught up in this. And I have discovered recently, well, not just recently, but really the entire time, I was first introduced to these Black YouTube spaces. There are people that are being emotionally devastated to the
Yeah.
point where um if I didn't have a heart, I would be happy to watch it. But I'm not that type of person. I'm not the type of person that's like, you know, like to watch somebody just demonstrate that they want to take their own life. Because even if they are seeking attention and they're going through that route to do it, that's something that I still take seriously. It's like I'm not gonna I'm not gonna just assume somebody is seeking attention when they're talking about ending their life. That's
Right.
that's just me. And when they go so far as to do that, it's like, okay, people are getting fucked up emotionally out here, and I'm not qualified to address it at all. And it's getting frustrating. It's getting frustrating because I'm discovering that more likely than not, these people are touched. They're touched. And I can't relate to it. And I got to stop pretending like I can relate to somebody that's been touched, because I can't. And that's basically what I've been doing. I've been, like trying to figure out how I can relate to somebody that's been touched, but I can't. And so when you say that you're disgusted, I won't go that far. What I will say is that I can't relate to what it's like to have been touched. And a lot of these women that are being taken advantage by men, or vice versa, for God's sakes, they've been touched. And when I say touched, I don't mean just emotionally disturbed. I'm talking about an egregious childhood.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. My childhood was not necessarily Leave It to Beaver, Brady Bunch, but damn it, I wasn't touched. And a lot of these people that have these alarmist pursuits, you might find that if they haven't confessed it, because some of them have confessed their situation, and of course my heart goes out to that, and I'm always just going to be standing back and not doing too much and not judging anybody. And then there are those that demonstrate the same signs, but they're not telling their whole story, which they don't have to. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't. If I was them, I keep that to myself too. Some things you carry to your grave, I get it. At the same time, it doesn't escape me that there's something off about their alarmist nature. You see what I'm saying? And so so when Misunderstood did her recent live stream that you featured, and she didn't care about how she looked. She obviously did not care about how she looked. And that's a signal of somebody that is malnourished, on the verge of crashing and burning. I'm not going to assume that she did drugs, because it's not my place to diagnose anybody. What I will do is look at the appearance. The appearance is, I don't give a damn. I got something to say. I got something to prove, when really the priority of the day is how you present yourself. That's the priority of the day. And so it indicates to me that she might be in distress as a result of that man. That man succumbed to her advances. And yes, it was up to her to not do that. At the same time, it was up to him to not do that either. So I was wondering, can you tell me, because it sounded like you want to blame her, and I want to blame both of them.
I definitely blame them both. Okay.
I'm glad to hear that.
I blame her for her choices when it comes to her addiction and her therapy. I blame her when it comes to the responsibility of her children. That's what I blame her for. I don't blame her for being able to manipulate someone, or shall I say, not manipulate. That's the wrong word. Being,
Seduce.
yes, being able to. Before I continue, girl, look at KS in the background.
I know. I was wondering. I was going to ask you about that when you finished what you were saying, because I was like, out of all people, out of all the brothers that ever been brothers, okay,
At this time, right? But
he's a
I'm
he was a finger wagging guy. He was a finger wagging guy.
and he is finger wagging right now. But I blame her for her seducing him, right? This counselor, if that is the case. But whether he succumbed or not, it was her choice to seduce. It is her choice to not stay in therapy, knowing that she needs therapy. Not thinking she needs therapy, but knowing that she needs therapy. I blame her for choosing YouTube attention and validation over validating her children and giving her children the right attention.
And a lot of people misconstrue YouTube attention as therapy for themselves, and it's not the same thing. YouTube is not therapy. Only a clinician is a therapist, and there are no clinicians that want to involve themselves in this shenanigans. Like I've talked to clinicians. They're like, if you know what's good for you, you get the fuck off. You get the fuck away from those people. I mean, I was like, listen to this live stream and tell me if you think these people are quote unquote normal. And then, she told me there's no such thing as normal. What I will say, if you know what's good for you, you would try to, develop some type of exit strategy away from these people. Because if you actually communicate with them personally, it's one thing to, have these, howdy doody conversations. But in the event that you make the mistake of exchanging your personal information with them, it might not be what you think it could add up to be. And so she didn't necessarily dog anybody specifically out. Let me make that clear. What she advised me, because I just happen to be, I just happen to be in a family that has professional credentials, and I don't really tell them that I'm online. It's kind of like, I used to call it a guilty pleasure. And what I was advised by my aunt is that what you don't want to be guilty of is developing personal relationships with people who are disturbed beyond your ability to console them. And that's what she was emphasizing. She wasn't, degrading anybody or judging anybody. She was focusing on me as how I tend to have this compassionate spirit where I want to console people or make a joke or, just make somebody happy. Like, that's my nature. I really do like when people are happy. And because there are people that don't believe in happiness because it was snuffed out of them years ago in their childhood,
yeah,
I'm on a mission in vain. And that can be, emotionally devastating for me, as a frustrating endeavor. If you get what I'm saying.
Forgive me because I was hungry and I'm eating while I'm sitting here.
Well, I figured, believe it or not, I figured that after years online, I figured when people just let me talk and talk and talk, it's because they're doing something else, like eating, or they went to the restroom or something like that. I mean, I've experienced panel discussions for years, and there is a pattern. So I'm not surprised that you were preoccupied and just allowed me to keep talking without interruption. I'm not surprised.
I will say this, right? That, excuse me, I just burped. Nobody heard it, but I did it, so excuse me.
It's a human thing, no problems. And I'm glad we didn't hear it, by the way. That would be a Bala X clip, right? Don't
right?
don't
Well,
burst, right?
I'm fortunate enough to be too small for Ball and X to pay attention to me. So that's where I'm fortunate at. And I'm fortunate enough to be too
Amen.
little for Ball
Amen.
and X.
Yeah,
So
he's
we'll
a
see
trip.
that way.
He's a trip, man. He's a trip. I really, all of us are, when you really think about it. All of us in our quirky way, we have made ourselves familiar amongst one another. And it's endearing, but at the same time, it's troubling because you can't save people. You can't save grown people. You just can't do
Right,
it.
right. Now I do believe that people can build relationships and friendships online, and take them offline. It depends on the individuals. It depends on the health of the individuals, what they're looking for, and their capacity of maintaining or building, right? And so, because like I'm online, I am online, whether I am doing a live stream or whether I'm on YouTube or whether I'm on Facebook or whatever, I am online. And I frequent, though, mostly YouTube. I'm a real human being. I'm a real person with real feelings, with a real life. And I am in tune with myself. And I'm a healthy individual for the most part. Ups, downs, good or bad, I'm a human being. I am able to establish and build healthy relationships. I'm able to have healthy dynamics in my buildings. I don't think that I am the only person online that is able to do that. So there are other people. So there are other people online that that I will meet, that I will talk to, that I will bump into, that I will congregate with, and say, hey, you know what? This person appears logical, appears sane, or whatever. And if we talk offline, or if we communicate offline in capacity, and we begin to build from that, then what I get from that is we are two or three or however many, we're individuals giving of ourselves. The degree and the magnitude of the vulnerability that you share comes and depends on how you build the foundation, how you establish. But you can't establish anything without first communicating and being willing to communicate. Like and I have been able to do business and build relationships off social media, off every platform, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and now YouTube, oh, and LinkedIn. So with here on YouTube, I actually have friendships. I actually have people that I care very deeply about, and I know they care about me as well. We don't agree about everything, on everything. We don't see everything eye to eye. We don't have the exact same background and upbringing. But what we do have is we have respect for each other's backgrounds. We have effective communication. We have a healthy amount of sharing about what's going on in each other's lives and inspire and encourage and motivate each other. Each relationship is different, but each relationship is important. And so, like, even with two people that passed away, one I was closer to than the other, which is Yusuf Latif. I love Yusuf Latif. And he passed away. We're approaching his anniversary of his passing. And I didn't get a chance to meet him face to face. But I loved him like I hung out with him every day. Darren Marion. Now you know Darren,
Of course I do. God rest his soul.
right? Rest his soul. Rest their souls. Darren and I communicated offline, and there was a caring, and I communicate periodically and check in periodically with his wife, his family. And so, and I did some work. I made money with Darren. I was going to make money with Yusef. Silva. And there are others. I mean, they're real life. Faith. And there, like I said, there are others. So I do believe in that happening. It just really depends a lot, again, on the individuals. You don't start on like, now there was someone that I was talking to, and trying to build with, and that didn't work out. And they thought I had an ulterior motive and whatnot. And that is okay. Another female, by the way. And that is okay, because that's just where she was. I don't fault her necessarily for that. It ended the way that it did because it just needed to end, period. And that's just what that is. You don't see me getting online every time I strap for live.
What
I'm gonna
what
talk
in the
about.
world? Wait a minute, because the paranoia of certain people trips me out too. May you share what she thought you were up to? Because some people are just paranoid for no reason. They just paranoid. Talking about, I don't like the way you move.
Right.
I'm like, what? They crack me up, man. It's like, has it ever occurred to you that you might be paranoid? Shit.
I don't really know what it was she thought I was going to do or trying to do. She just felt like I had an ulterior motive of getting to know her, of talking with her, and befriended her. I mean, I have nothing, besides that. I don't know. And so it's like, now she did a video on me called Stop Trying to Expose Me. And all she did, she was like, look at her, sending me a text talking about some, how you doing? How you doing? It's like, it, it shouldn't be.
Child, these people be on drugs, child. I'm convinced. Now I can't prove it, but it seems to me like a lot of these people are on that smoke. They on some pills or something, and some of them might be drinking. I mean, hell, I remember I was mixing melatonin. What do they call it? Melatonin. And I had a cocktail, and I didn't realize how I sounded. And somebody asked me, was I drunk? And I was like, no, I'm not drunk. It's something else. And they were like, nah, bitch, you drunk, you drunk. And I was just like, no, that's not it. And then I recalled that I was on this melatonin. And so then I came back and I explained my behavior with the melatonin. And it was like, that's the lamest excuse for being drunk I ever heard. And, they started ripping into me. And next thing you know, it just got spread around that, I was trying to play off being inebriated when that wasn't the case. But what I will say is that it's not a foreign concept that people have been sipping or smoking or popping some prescriptions or non-prescription pills when they get on these panels. You can hear it. It's very rare that you hear somebody that's in their right mind when it comes to certain spaces around here. Some of them are proud enough to even smoke weed in front of their audience, and they brag about what strains they got and all types of shit. So it's not where I'm judging anybody. It's just that it's so interesting that misunderstood is being focused upon when we're not really considering some of these other avatars out here that have been clowning worse, if not equally. Like, she just happened to be the person that revealed everything about herself. A lot of
Mhm.
people aren't revealing everything about themselves, and they still have the same erratic behavior as she has recently displayed. Like, I mean, when you really look at it at balance, she hasn't actually said, like, if you listen to it, not look at her, but just listen to it, she's performing or behaving, however you want to put it, in a way that a lot of these characters, otherwise known as avatars, have done. It's just that she was the type of person that decided to just let it all show. She just let it all show. We know too much about her. You see what I'm saying? And that's what gives us carte blanche to be extra judgeful,
Yeah,
because we know too much about her. Like, but there are other people that are, when you close your eyes and really listen, they're performing in the same way. It's just that we don't know as much about them as we know about
mhm.
her. So I just want to be fair and balanced if possible.
That makes sense.
Hmm.
That makes a lot of sense. And whatever reason people might feel uncomfortable with building or sharing, I think that should be respected too. It's not a big deal because again, we're all human. It is not like I was trying to bump and grinder because I don't go that way, you know. Um, so
I
yeah, I
tell you
mean,
what, I don't take melatonin no more. I do not. And somebody even made a joke saying she changed her name to Mela uh because it's a spin on melatonin. They did a spin on melatonin with Mela. They was like,
oh
they was tripping.
stop.
They was tripping, man. And I was like, these some clever motherfuckers out here. I swear they clever. And that's why I love them so much. And when I say love, I don't mean like love like, my mother, my brother, my sister. I'm talking about like, some of the creativity is just interesting to me. I was like, that's a person that has a creative mind. I've heard people call me Crumella DeVille. Okay.
It's funny.
Uh I just all type, and these are people um that that aren't any better or worse than any of among us. It's just that some of us have problems that we have splattered all over YouTube for people to pick apart. And that's what, so I'm not going to release my sympathy for her. I'm not. What I will do is observe and hope for the best.
Yeah.
That's what I'll do.
Now you did ask me a question and I forgot to answer it regarding Snoop, Lady Snoop. I was gonna say Snoop Dogg. Regarding Lady Snoop and my feelings. I empathize with her because you could see clearly how upset she was in hearing everything. Now, I don't know the duration and the full dynamics of this relationship. I just would encourage and would hope for her that she would be, I don't know how careful she was, but be even more careful in how she gets involved in the future. We don't have control over any other individual. Uh, and we can't say what another individual will or won't do when we don't really know them. So I don't know how well she knew this guy before they called themselves being in a relationship, but maybe it was not enough time for
Well,
her
in
to.
her live stream, she focused on the time period of 2021, like sometime in August or July of 2021. That was one of the first questions out of her mouth with that guy that she was interrogating at the time. And that's the time span I remembered her, that started off her series of questions. So I would think if she was involved with him, it could have been that time span that's of interest to her. So maybe she had known him longer than that, but that was the time span she was focused on, that July, August 2021 time period.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. So that's almost a year, right? So I don't know. I don't know how
They could have known each other longer than that, but she definitely
exactly.
was focused on that time period. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how well they knew each other before then or whatever. I would just say, either way, I do empathize with her with all of this coming out and the capacity that is coming out here online. I think part of it though has to be because of the way. Now I wasn't around for everything, so I gotta say that. But I do think in part it's because of the way she and Misunderstood were acting physically online. Some of the ways they behaved, regarding their relationships online, making it even more personal and even more painful at the same time.
Yeah, I remember that crap during Facebook times where people, now that was before videos on Facebook existed. These were people that would have a domestic violence issue, and then how did that evolve? Because there's this one circumstance I remember watching unfold where they would always put up posts talking about, yeah, everybody is a Billy badass until somebody show up to their house and blah blah. And you could tell it was getting increasingly tense, every time they put a post up. And as you could follow that, two people were sharing the same man, and apparently there was a fight, and they had some type of court case about it, and then somebody broke the damn, the what do they call it, the order of protection, and then they threatened to pursue charge. It was just crazy. I've witnessed this kind of crap on Facebook years ago, and I was just like, what I wouldn't advise for people to do is to put themselves in situations and circumstances where vengeance can be displayed in front of the general public. It's ridiculous. Would you agree? Like, that's crazy. And it wouldn't happen if you didn't embark upon a relationship from somebody online in the first place. Like what, how do you really know that person to call yourself considering them the love of your life, and you'll just cut any bitch throat to get to them? It's just like, what they do that? That's ridiculous. And it's gotten to the point where these women are displaying that they're willing to fight over men that really never meant them any good in the first place, when you think about it. And that's what I find awful.
And women have always been willing to do that. Even before social media, women have always been willing
That's
to
true.
fight over a man for attention. When
That's
you
true.
think about groups, let's say, for example, Ray Charles. Ray Charles had many lovers as well as being married. Look at what they were willing to do for his attention and his affection and for fame. They do it in church, they do it at school. Women sometimes will fight just because it's about the attention. It ain't even about the men, it's about the attention.
Ain't that something?
It's terrible.
It is terrible. It's like, um, I'm not sure how any of these people look per se in person. I'm sure there's someone else that that will treat you better. There's it's inviting stress into your life is it's just the wrong path. Like, it's just heartache it's just, we have our own problems. Why invite other problems? Like, if someone is causing you a problem, then you really don't need that extra problem. You know what I'm saying? It's logical to me, but you know.
Think about this, Miller.
Hmm.
How often do girls fight in school over boys?
I've seen some. I've seen it. I've seen some high school fights, but I didn't know at the time it was over a boy. I thought they were just being youthful and ridiculous. But in hindsight, I do remember uh a couple of fights where a guy will be off to the side laughing like they need to stop, they need, and he laughing, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying, and I'm
yeah,
like, why is he over there laughing, you know? But I thought he was
exactly.
laughing because he liked to see women physically fight. But in hindsight, I think I remember him being involved with both of those girls, I
Hmm.
think. So yeah, you know, yeah. So it's a juvenile attitude, pretty much, is what you're saying. I agree. It's a juvenile attitude. Yeah.
Males do like to see females fight over them and fight over their attention. Notice I said men. I said males, not men. I said females, not women.
It's important that you said it like that too, so the audience can be made aware of the differentiation, because there is a difference.
Yes, it's a different level of maturity for men and for women. And I think that's what I want to make the difference of, a separation of. It's not necessarily about an age thing, it is what it is, a maturity thing. And it's up to us older ladies, whether I'm not gonna say older ladies, it's up to the older people to make a better impression on the younger people. Hey man, don't be fighting over it. No, 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 no. We don't fight over boys. No, no. If he wants you, if he wants to be with you or hang out with you, let him choose you. We don't fight over boys. Now, if somebody hits you or acts like they're going to hit you or invade your personal space over a boy or for whatever reason, then you fight. But you're not fighting over a boy.
Agreed.
That's my stand.
I apologize. I was distracted. I got a notification. Um, well, I guess he's like a conspiracy theorist, and I got his notification, and what he got clever with it, because what he does now, instead of pointing out what his video is going to be about, he throws out teasing titles like, y'all see what they doing, this is what they doing in the government, and he just leaves the title at that, which makes you want to click on it to find out what he's talking about, when before,
Ah,
when
Papa Duck.
before yeah, Papa Doug. But before, he used to specify in his title what the video was going to be about. But yeah, I love me some Papa Doug, child. I
I love
love
me some Papa Duck too.
it.
Well, I gotta go wash some dishes. I'm gonna shut down anyway, so you can go ahead and check them out.
It was nice visiting you as always, and you all remember to like, subscribe, and share the channel. And gratitude for making me a moderator, Reigning Woman. That was very kind of you. Thank you so much.
No props. Thank you for joining me,
And
everyone.
you seem to like the quote I made about women not being evil,
Yeah,
rather that they are influenced by the evil leadership of men.
I do like that. Yep,
Okay.
and I'm going to leave it pinned. So
All right. Make a t-shirt out of it. Do what you got to do. Okay. Peace and blessings. Bye
peace and
bye.
blessings. Thank you, everyone, for coming through. It's your girl, Raining Woman. Everyone, have a good night, and I will, you know how I do it. Sometime soon. I'll see you around. Peace.